Something terrible is undoubtedly taking place in a calm suburban community as earlier caring parents suddenly transform into dangerous individuals with an unknown pandemic that targets their children. At once, Carly and Josh, Damon, like every other child in the nation, must save their lives, as the rage-fueled, murderous purpose is both uncontrollable and unexplainable. Spoiler ahead, watch out. When the film begins, we see a transmission of TV static noise. At that point, the picture changed to a mother driving her car and listening to music on the radio. Surprisingly, the woman left the automobile and her child with no hesitation. She purposely halted her automobile in the midst of the railway, leaving her kid to die. The next scene shows a girl, Carly, calling her boyfriend Damon. Shortly after, Carly's younger brother Josh enters the room and makes fun of her. In this film, we will focus on Carly and Josh's family, which includes their father, Brent, and mother K1ll. Carly's family always begins the day with breakfast and gathers together. They also have a maid named Sunyi and her daughter Lisa. While having breakfast, Carly's parents watched a newscast about an automobile that had been hit by a train. Carly instead requested permission for her to bring her boyfriend over tonight. However, her parents disagreed and stated that her grandparents were also coming tonight. On the other side, Carly was not granted permission to date given that she is still 17 years old. Throughout the way to school, Carly entertained herself with her cell phone, and her mom was totally ignored. Carly's connection with her mom is not very positive. Then Josh, who was not yet attending school, spent each day at home. Josh is clearly shown in the movie as a stubborn and hyperactive child. Because of his stubbornness, his dad's head was struck with a ball till it buzzed. Even so, his father remained accepting and willing to joke around Josh. Following that, his father was all set to go to work as usual. The scene shifts to a classroom with a girl named Riley. Riley is an evil girl and Carly's classmate. The scene then shifts back to Carly's place. In the house, there is only just Josh, Sunyi, and Lisa. Josh, the playful one, gets scared when his toy plane crashes and he peers into the kitchen. Carly's mother was also spending time with Riley's mother. Riley's mother doesn't forget to state that Riley told her that Carly was secretly stealing K1ll's money. Despite feeling ashamed, K1ll protects her daughter. While the two moms went on with their conversation, their daughters had been learning in the same classroom. The telephone rang in the classroom just as the teacher began to teach them. Following that, one of the students in the class was asked by his parents to leave the classroom. Shortly after, the telephone rang again. Many police vehicles were seen outside the classroom on their way to school. Following that call, one of the pupils was given permission to exit the classroom. Damon, who was taking examinations on campus, noticed a large number of parents standing at the door, despite the fact that the exam wasn't yet over. Carly and Riley, who completed their class, noticed that all of the students were hurriedly leaving. They all rushed home after their parents called them. A large number of parents jammed the school gate. Damon, who completed his exam, grabbed the answer sheets and exited the classroom. The parents who noticed Damon leave entered the classroom together. The current situation at school has been getting completely out of control and unusual. All parents appeared to be filled with panic, calling their children. To prevent further confusion even, police officers guarded the school gate. Then one mother called her son, and as a result, the child rushed to her and climbed over the fence. Even the teachers and police officers who were holding him couldn't do anything given that the kid was determined to leave through their school gate. As a result, the youngster was stabbed with the car key by his mother. When the parents obtained entrance to the school, the situation became even more violent. All of the pupils started running immediately. Some of the chased kids were murdered in a number of ways. The police officers had been working hard to keep the kids safe. Carly and Riley kept running away. Unfortunately, their parents did not show up at school. Then Damon has been making his way back home. When he arrived, he walked straight into the home to discover his father seated on the chair. Damon cleaned his unclean home. As it happened, his dad had moved out of the couch. The television program that his father was watching abruptly changed to a static noise broadcast. All of a sudden, Damon was slapped from behind by his father for no clear reason. His father seemed puzzled and immediately grabbed the glass bottle. It was broken in order to make it sharper, and he attacked his son until his hand was harmed. Damon looked to avoid his father as soon as he felt odd. Damon's father, who was chasing him, collapsed, piercing his own neck with the glass. Contrary to this, Carly's mom was quietly crying in the car. She remembered her daughter's tendency to make herself feel horrible. A little while later, K1ll received a call from her sister, who was about to give birth. Carly and Riley, who had left school, decided to remain at Riley's residence. Riley is a girl who enjoys using drugs. Carly watches television to gain insight into what's going on. Riley's mother, on the other hand, had been waiting in Riley's room. Carly wondered why Riley had remained in her room for so long. As she went to look for her, she discovered Riley had been murdered by her own mother. Carly's mother is already in the hospital. When she visited the hospital, she was interested in what was being presented on television. According to the most recent news, this occurrence most likely occurred as a result of a group of people purposely creating biological weapons or neurotoxins, which are capable of attacking human brain impulses. This neurotoxin will cause parents who are always protective, loving, and worried about their children to have the opposite tendency. In simple terms, the neurotoxin has the ability to turn parents' tendencies against their children, making them wish to kill them. Carly's mother then attends to her sister, who is preparing to give birth. After such a hard fight, a baby emerged and was promptly held by the mother. However, the monitor image in the room abruptly transformed into a static noise broadcast. She purposefully held the infant with such force that it couldn't breathe. When Carly's mother noticed this, she promptly captured the baby from her sister. The doctors assisted K1ll in rescuing the baby. However, the infant's mother grabbed a cutter and attempted to stab the baby. Eventually, Carly's mother got the chance to grab the baby. When Carly realizes her friend is dead, she rushes out of Ratley's residence. From a distance, she noticed a father who had killed his son using a baseball bat. She meets Damon there. Damon and Carly then prepared to save Josh, who was still at home. Then the scene shifts to Carly's father, who is at the office and appears exhausted. He received a call from his wife, but neglected it. At that point, the TV in the office switched to static noise, and Carly's father yelled. Carly's mother, who continued to stay in the hospital, was completely puzzled. Then a nurse explained that her sister was properly medicated and couldn't behave violently anymore. The nurse requested that the baby should be given back to the hospital. After refusing, she eventually offered the infant to the hospital. Carly's mother quickly called Sunyi, who was at home. She asked if it's all fine. Well, Sunyi stated that everything is fine. Carly's mother was anxious that her husband might arrive at the house first. Damon and Carly enter the house, and Sunyi is seen mopping the kitchen floor. She said she would make Carly lunch. However, Carly quickly inquired about Josh's situation. Sunyi responds that Josh is in his room. Carly was shocked when she saw the blood-soaked mop Sunyi squeezed out. Sunyi murdered her own kid, Lisa, in the kitchen. Carly, who felt frightened of Sunyi, quickly chased the woman out of the house. At that point, Carly walked upstairs to find her little brother, Josh. Damon, who was downstairs, was shocked when Carly's father entered the house. When Carly's father and Damon are arguing, Josh exposes himself in front of his father. His father instantly attacked them both and got stopped by Damon. Carly's father then struck Damon immediately. At that point, all Carly and Josh were able to do was escape their father's chase. Fortunately, their dad slipped on a toy car and crashed into the kitchen. The two kids immediately hid in the basement and shut the door. Meanwhile, their mother continued to drive on the way home. It got so chaotic that a mother intentionally pushed her toddler into the middle of the road. Fortunately, Carly's mother did not hit the baby. When Carly's mother arrived at the house, she immediately woke her husband, who had fainted. Carly's mother's behavior changed from this point, and she appeared to be bewildered. The two parents ultimately collaborated together to kill the kids. K1ll attempts to convince Carly and Josh, who happens to be in the basement, to head outside. However, Carly was unwilling to do so. She ordered her mother to leave the house. Hearing it, their father grew angry and scolded them. Then Carly's mother grabbed the drill and knife. The door was so strong that the tool his mother used did not even work. Their father plans to grab the weapon he keeps under his bed. However, the gun seemed to have disappeared. It turned out that Josh had taken his father's weapon. Mother's arm was damaged after being struck by a bullet through the door. Their parents created a new, more successful strategy. They attempted to make it difficult for the two kids to breathe by pumping gas into the basement. The mother inserted the hose into the basement's air vent. Carly's father turned on the gas faucet. Every hole in the door was closed by their mother. Carly, who was curious, stretched out her finger to feel the hole in the door. Her mother noticed Carly's finger and quickly stabbed the hole using a knife. The parents simply waited at the door to listen to their kids' screams. They basically want the two kids to die slowly. Now the children have difficulty in breathing. Then Carly found a way out of the room. Before leaving, she set a trap using the matches she spotted in the room. Carly's goal in creating the trap was to ensure that anytime they opened the door, the match would quickly rub against and explode, for the reason there was gas in the room. When they had completed their task, they entered the vent and coughed with as much volume to trick them. Hearing the coughing sound, their dad prepared to enter the space, while their mother got a hammer and knife. Carly and Josh had already climbed over the ceiling at that point. Father quickly opened the door and the trap was activated. Immediately, an explosion of flames struck Carly's father. The woman then awoke from the unconsciousness and went looking for her two children. Carly is spotted by her mother, arrives from downstairs and notices Carly in the attic. Her subconscious reaction was to chase Carly. Carly could only shut herself in her room. Damon had woken up and attempted to help Carly. Carly's mother was ultimately locked up in the wardrobe after a series of fights. Carly and Damon similarly Carly assumed that her mother seemed out of breath and had given up. However, Mother's hand appears with a broken hanger. Unfortunately, the hanger poked Damon's cheek and penetrated. Carly and Josh, who ran, encountered their father, who had recovered consciousness. Their parents pursued them until they got caught. Luckily, the doorbell rang at that exact moment. That was Carly's grandparents will be visiting their home tonight. As soon as his dad opened the front door, his mom sprayed pepper spray on his face. Then Carly's grandfather attacked Brent, the father using a knife right there. However, Carly's father continued to pursue Josh. They end up pursuing each other. The terrified Josh then climbs into his father's cherished car and hides inside. Meanwhile, his grandfather continued to target his son. As an alternative, Carly's mother makes an effort to stop her in-laws from killing her spouse. When K1ll tried to kill her daughter, her grandmother attempted to stop K1ll from behind. Carly's father, Brent, who had started the car, crashed into his own mother. Following that, Carly's grandfather was thrown outside and died on the spot. Carly is aimed by her mother once again. However, fortunately, Damon arrived and instantly smashed Carly's mother with a hoe, causing her to faint. Their parents were then bound up in the basement by their own children. They asked to be released, but Carly still refused. Their parents burst into anger like true sadists. When Carly and Josh saw what their parents were doing, all they could manage to do was cry. They regretted not respecting their parents in the past. The mother stated that she loved her children far more than everything in the world. Then their father mentioned that they had occasionally thought about murdering their children. In essence, this film represents how parents may be at their worst whenever it comes to caring for their children. Carly's father's final sentence suggested that occasionally parents had such ideas, even if they had no desire to do so. The origin of the outbreak is unknown, but we could assume it was caused by sound waves generated by static noise TV broadcasts. We really hope you enjoyed today's recap of the movie Mom and Dad. Please leave a comment below on what you loved about the movie and why. Be sure to like the video, and please don't forget to support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss any amazing content. Until next time, light, camera, action. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.